The press conference was expected to be explosive, journalists ready with sharp questions, accusations, and moments to catch the Prime Minister off guard. But Mark Carney showed up differently, calm, collected, and completely in control. From the very first question, which was more accusation than inquiry, it was clear this wouldn't be a typical session. One reporter didn't ask for answers. He pointed fingers, claiming Carney had no clear plan and no grip on Canada's finances, accusing the government of running on empty promises and political games. The atmosphere was charged, the challenge direct. Yet Carney answered with precision and calm, never raising his voice or losing composure. He outlined undeniable facts. Canada's balance sheet is the strongest in the G7, boasting the second lowest deficit in all OECD countries. He explained how fast-rising spending has slowed dramatically, waste and overlap are being slashed, and the civil service is evolving to deliver more efficiently. Then, with a quiet but powerful line, he challenged the room. Hopefully you had time to read the first page of the budget. A sudden hush fell. The tension melted away. Everyone saw a leader not here to dodge, but to take charge. This was no show for the headlines. It was a display of steady command and unshakable confidence. Before anyone could recover, another journalist shot a new salvo, claiming the economy was tanking, investors losing faith, growth plunging. Carney didn't flinch. He calmly reminded them and everyone watching that the IMF's latest data projects Canada as the second fastest growing economy in the G7 behind only the United States. And here's the key point, that growth is happening despite global instability, despite tariffs, and despite relentless misinformation. He didn't just defend Canada's economy, he defended the truth. Because in a media cycle built on exaggeration, Carney used the one tool that still cuts through facts. And the more the press tried to corner him, the clearer it became. Carney wasn't the one under pressure. He was the one setting the record straight. Then came the headline moment that sent shockwaves through Ottawa. Carney confirmed that Chris Dantrum, a longtime Conservative MP, had crossed the floor to join the Liberal caucus. For Carney, it wasn't about politics, it was about trust. Because when members of the opposition begin joining your government, it means something deeper is happening. Confidence is spreading. Carney praised D'Entremont's decision as exceptionally valuable and important, and the symbolism couldn't have been stronger. Even the opposition now recognizes where the leadership, discipline, and direction in this country truly lie. It's estimated, you'll find in the budget, it's estimated that U.S. tariffs and the uncertainty that they're creating will cost us around 1.8% of our GDP. Let me translate that. That's about $50 billion lost from our economy, or the equivalent of $1,300 for every Canadian. Now, while we can't control what the U.S. does, we can decide what happens here. This is Canada, and we can build the future we want for ourselves. We can get that money back and more. Budget 2025 is a bold strategy to unleash over $1 trillion in total investment in Canada over the next 5 years. That alone can increase our GDP by over 312%. Again, let me translate. That's equivalent to more than $3,500 for every Canadian, delivering far more for Canadians than what's been taken from us from abroad. Now is not the time to be cautious because fortune favors the bold. It is a time to get big things done for Canadians and get them done fast. And then came the issue that defines our economic moment, the U.S. tariffs, and the pressure they've placed on Canada. Carney didn't deny the damage. He acknowledged it with clarity and honesty. Those tariffs cost 1.8% of GDP, roughly $50 billion or about $2,300 per Canadian. But here's where his leadership shines. He didn't stop at the loss. He talked about the response. Under Carney, Budget 2025 mobilizes over $1 trillion in total investment over 5 years, driving GDP growth up 3.5%, more than offsetting the tariff hit. That's not recovery, that's resurgence. And with that, Carney reframed the entire debate. Yes, the U.S. can impose tariffs. Yes, Trump can try to pressure Canada, but Canada under Carney will no longer wait for America's permission to grow. We are building a self-reliant economy powered by Canadian industries, Canadian workers, and Canadian leadership. Carney said it best. While we can't control what the U.S. does, we can decide what happens here. And that line might go down as one of the defining statements of his premiership. This wasn't a routine media appearance. It was a statement of strength. Mark Carney faced a hostile press corps and left them speechless. He turned criticism into clarity, misinformation into education, and pressure into purpose. And the reaction across the country says it all. This wasn't just a press conference. It was a reminder that Canada has a leader who doesn't lose his cool, doesn't lose control, and never loses sight of the bigger picture. In an era of performative outrage and political chaos, Carney proved that calm, informed leadership still wins. He didn't just answer questions today, he answered doubts. And he reminded everyone, Canada's strength doesn't come from noise. Subscribe now for more in-depth analysis on the stories shaping Canada's next chapter.